Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole, and this is my second part of my 2023 picks for Saturday, 11/4/23. And I'm going to start off with the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and my first pick for the Breeders' Cup Distaff will be Nest. Nest has been a little bit off and on form this year, but I'm hoping he'll bring his best A game for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. I doubt if Top Pleasure would bring this horse back if he didn't have a chance. And the early odds from the DRF is at 8-1, an impeccable value for such a horse of his caliber. I really like Nest. I think he'll be better suited here. It's going to be more of a fast track, and he's a good stalker horse. He doesn't necessarily need the lead or necessarily comes from behind. So if everything falls apart in front of him, he should win the race without any problems. Idiomatic would be the favorite, 8-5. Well, certainly we know why, because of his impeccable form, but he'll have pace company with other horses in this race. I think this doesn't set up to as well as it does for Nest. A lot of horses that have a long shot possibility, but might be Clairiere. Clairiere seems to run when he wants to run. He'll win a couple of good races. He was really sharp at Saratoga, and he seems like to be slightly off of form right now. As you know, with Santa Anita, really just not really good for horses to come from behind. But for what the price you're going to get for Clairiere, about 8-1, the same as Nest, that'd be a great exacta. So right off forum, my picks is Nest to Clairiere and exactas, and Nest is my first pick. On to the next race. And pardon me, folks, as I get my charts for the next race. My next race will be the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. And my pick for that race is Inspirio, again, trained by Johnny H.M. Gosden. He'd be at 4-1. So a horse that has impeccable class from Europe. He's running against nothing but European contenders. But again, with John Gosden coming back to Santa Anita, you have to be extra careful with him with a value horse. Horse that a lot of people are going to be looking into was In Italian. In Italian is a really good speed horse and should be figured to be out in the front end and have the advantage of with a short turn for home and also a speed bias turf course at Santa Anita. That would probably be a good exacta bet. And between a Spiral and an Italian would be a great bet. I liked an Italian for my second pick last year in the mount, and he should not disappoint. He always runs a good race. But right off the bat, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, I have my top pick in Spiral. My second exacta pick will be in an Italian. Now on to my next race. And on to the next race will be the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint race. And my pick will be Carmel Swirl. He was one of my contenders from last year running at Keeneland Park. Bill Mott did not send him out and run the race. I don't know if it was declared out because of his health conditions or he had another race set for him. If Carmel Swirl, again, is going to attempt to run the Breeders' and Cup Filly Mare Sprint, I believe has an excellent chance of winning this race. He was in great form last year. He's in decent form this year. He's getting 6-1 and getting Bill Mott. At 7/8 of a mile, he'll be coming hard at the end of the stretch and ready to catch on Goodnight Olive. Goodnight Olive is the speed of speed, especially with Echo Zulu being out of the race due to injury. That is my exacta with Carmel Swirl and Goodnight Olive. I like both of them, but my number one pick is Carmel Swirl. On to the next race. Next race I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, will be the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. The Dirt Mile, my pick is Senor Buscador. If you looked at my videos before, he ran fourth in the Pacific Classic, beaten by less than 3 lengths, having a slow pace to run at and coming around for the clubhouse turn 4 wide and making little impact. He's a long fuse sprinter to a mile horse fits him better than going to the Breeders' Cup Classic. I like his odds. Right now, early odds from the DRF is pointing him at 20-1. 20-1, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this horse has an impeccable chance, and really fair odds should have him down to 10-6 to 8-1. If you look at his form, and you see that trouble line where he was wide and come out of the Pacific Class, you can see why I'm very high in this horse. Senor Buscador is my pick for the Breeders' Cup Mile. If he chooses to go to Breeders' Cup Classic, then my second pick would be Practical Move. Practical Move has been on a shelf for about 6 months. He won his last race at Santa Anita. He's 4 for 4 at Santa Anita. And right now, DRF has him at his odds at 6-1. I would believe he'll be much lower than 6-1. If he stays at 6-1, it's impeccable bet, especially if Senior Buscador chooses to go to the Breeders' Cup Classic. Then I would definitely go to Practical Move. If Practical Move goes under 3 or 5-2, that's kind of favoring chalk, and he might be a little bit longer than that. Depends on Cody Wish runs in this race or goes the Classic. Right now, Belmont has Cody's Wish at 8-5, running at the Breeders' Cup Mile, not the Classic. But I do not like Cody's Wish, ladies and gentlemen. He broke slow his last 2 races. If you look at that last race, when he won the Vosburg, he was off slowly for some reason, and they opened up the barrier, and he was just a step slow. And against inferior company, I mean, he should have beat that field by at least 10 lengths. He's going to run against the best at the Breeders' Cup Mile, and I think he's suspect. And a horse, one of the favorites I would throw out. I really like Senior Buscador better at his odds, and definitely Practical Jokes as his odds. So those are my 2 picks, and I'm throwing out Cody's Wish. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm throwing out Cody's Wish. I throw out favorites before, and sometimes I get snake bit, but I'm not taking Cody's Wish in the mile this year. On to the main event. Give me 1 second. In the main event, ladies and gentlemen, the Breeders' Cup Classic. This is the big one, the granddaddy of them all for this race. And my pick, well, I have 2 picks, but my first pick would be Proxy. Proxy is my first pick. I did some videos on him. I really like this horse's chance, especially coming out of the Jockey Cup Gold Cup where he just lost by a nose. But he's ran over the track. He ran into Santa Anita Handicap, beating less than 2 lengths against the funded and Stiletto Boy in the Santa Anita Handicap. He said, I'm used to train at horses at Santa Anita until he moves tacked out east. He's 15-1. That's better than fair odds. I was thinking 12-1. I know you're thinking 12 to 51 is not a big deal, but think about it. That's $24 or $30. Yeah, I'm getting better odds. I like him for my long shot play of the day. If perchance if he's withdrawn or anything like that, or he comes to injury, because I'm doing this video like 2.5 weeks before the Breeders' Cup, then I like Yeshiba Tessero, the horse from Japan, who definitely has the class over the 3-year-olds, in my opinion. But can he handle the track is one thing. And second of all, is coming to California, since he's mostly a European horse, is going to bother him. If that happens, of course, he's not going to run. But I'm thinking this horse will run, or they wouldn't send him out to this race. The Japanese have plenty of hopes for this horse, and they've won a lot of races now on the dirt, especially with March Lorraine, who won the Breeders' Cup Distaff 2 years ago at a whopping odds. So Eusebio Cicero is a little bit under on fair play. I would think fair play odds would be 10-1. He's never been over the track and never been in California. 10-1 would have been a fair odds. Right now, he's at 6-1. That's why he's my second choice. But if they would draw Proxy, then I have to go to Sheba Tessero for my number 1 pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Archangelo is a fantastic horse. I like him in the Belmont. He's been surprising me lately about his true form. Early DRF odds has him at 7-2. I've always claimed that I like 4-year-olds better than 3-year-olds, especially this time of the end of the year. There are many videos of previous Breeders' Cup Classics, previous races for the Breeders' Cups where 3-year-olds run against 4-year-olds. And I'll say it again, like I always say, just 3-year-olds have a harder time to maintain their health and well-being with training, the racings, the big races, turn to Triple Crown, the beginning of the year, coming into a 4-year-old when he turned 4 January 1st. Archangel is about as honest as a horse could be. Is he a superstar 3-year-old? No, that's why I'm not playing Archangel, nor am I playing Go Rocket Ride or Arabian Night. People think, well, Arabian Night just won the Pac Classic against older horses. Most of the top contenders in the past Pacific Classic this year at Del Mar were 3-year-olds. Skinner, Go Rocket Ride, Arabian Night just held by the skin of his nose to win the Pacific Classic by Go Rocket Ride. Go Rocket Ride is another fortuitous horse that always seems to get a lot of races where he's just off the catbird seat. In a Classic, it's going to be a lot more of a cat and mouse game between jockey and horse to see who's going to keep him pinned inside, keep him floated out wide. And that's why I'm not choosing any of the 3-year-olds. Grant you, they're consistent 3-year-olds, but they're not monsters. They're not scaring me. There's no Justifier American Pharoah in this lot. Believe me, you. Neither are there any Nick's Gold, Life is Good, or Flightline. So this is wide open. This is the reason why I like Proxy at 50-1, because I just can't take any value with these 3-year-olds thinking I might wind up winning a race. At the end of the year, it's always tough for them on the grind. That is my 2 picks for the Breeders' Cup Classic. And I'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for seeing my videos and subscribing to my content. This is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole. Have a good afternoon, folks. Thank you very much.